Welcome to Pet Star, everyone. Happy Wednesday. This is the Doc of Detox Show. I'm Dr. Darrell Wolfe, and I'm with my co-host, the amazing Dr. Marlene Siegel. She is here to give you the truth about your pets. Today's show is called Creating the Perfect Environment for Your Pet. But before we start, I would like to just tell you something, and that is this. That if you don't get to see Marlene's show, okay, Dr. Siegel's show, all you have to do is go to docofdetoxshow.com where you can watch it and on your convenience, anytime of the day. You can also go to YouTube at Doc of Detox, all right? And it's also going to be live on Facebook, and it'll be up there for a few days, okay? Now, the next thing I'd like to say is this. If you'd like to share any of my shows or Pet Star, along with Dr. Marlene Siegel, you want to share it with anybody around the world, YouTube has closed captioning. So if somebody cannot if somebody cannot hear, they can read it. And depending on where they live around the world, you can change the actual closed captioning to the language of that person. They've got over 30 languages on YouTube. So no matter where you are, if you've got somebody who lives in another country speaking another language, they can change it to that language and watch Pet Star. And they can find out how to look after their pets no matter where they live around the world. Okay? So the next thing I'd like to talk about is, first of all, our phone number is 888-570-9445. As soon as we get into taking questions, which will be in about 20 minutes. Okay? I'd like to tell a story before we start, just a little story about pets. And I'll show you why. So when I was 12 years old, by this time, my parents had already broken up 3 times, got back together twice, and then this was the 3rd time. My father was a very religious man. My mother was a Catholic. My father was a born-again Christian. I don't know if that went really well. But when they broke up, my mother, she actually became an alcoholic. Now, I always loved the show Lassie, right? And if you can remember Lassie, it was a beautiful collie. He had a stable family, right? And at the time, I didn't really realize that I probably wanted Lassie because I thought I was going to get the stable family. So anyways, I told my mother for my birthday I wanted to have a collie, a purebred. And so she said, okay, I'll get you a collie for your birthday. So she got it for me, and every day I'd go to the park and I'd teach this little puppy tricks, okay? But see, you never really know how screwed up you really are, do you? Because as that puppy was starting to grow up, guess what I found out? It wasn't a collie. It was a 57 Heinz. Now, there's nothing wrong with that. I love all dogs. But at that time, I was a screwed up little kid with a broken family, and his mother gave him a purebred collie that wasn't a purebred collie. It was a 57 Heinz. So I couldn't hate my mother because my father wasn't around, and so I hated the dog. Now think about it. I hated this little puppy. I went home and I told my mother, because somebody in the park said, that's a 57 Heinz. You're going to find out when that grows up. And as it was growing up, you could tell. And I just told my mother, I'm not going to feed it and I'm not going to water it. I don't want the dog. Now, I never really thought about it, but you know what? And I'm not saying I have guilt right now, but think about it. This is a little spirit. All animals are just beautiful little spirits that come here to love us. And I was such a screwed up, messed up, angry child that I took it out on this little puppy. And I think all I want to say there is we need to protect the animals from human beings. Good day, Dr. Marlene Siegel. I'll let you take over from here.
Well, that was a wonderful story. And I think I would qualify that by saying that was your first opportunity to really experience unconditional love. You just missed the message.
Absolutely. Did
I
ever?
At that time.
Yep.
But you made up for it since.
Yeah.
But it's about unconditional love. No matter what your size, what your color, what your package, we're all perfect.
That's right. On a life-changing adventure, and we don't realize that, though.
Yeah.
And
so
the only way
that story in showing unconditional love or the opportunity to experience unconditional love, even though he didn't meet your expectation, what you thought was important.
Yeah, but the thing is I didn't have the tools. My parents didn't have the tools, so where would I get the tools from? You know,
Absolutely.
everything's a download, and we know that most of everything we learn is from our parents. So, and then we've got to go and unlearn, right? And the thing is we don't know at that age that the only way that we can grow is consciously. So,
But the experience itself, just being able to share how your expectation wasn't met, and that led to your being angry at the situation instead of embracing it. I think a lot of people experience that in relationships, maybe in family, maybe in their career. You can apply it to anything where you have an expectation, it doesn't come out exactly the way you expected, and then you're angry at the situation instead of embracing it and going, maybe there's a blessing in here. Maybe this is the lesson I'm really supposed to learn, not the one I expected.
that's right. And so, a childhood tantrum will turn into a teenage mood that will turn into an adult behavioral disorder if we don't watch it. So
Yeah.
instead of having a tantrum for a few days, we'll have one for a few years, maybe forever, if we don't
Yeah.
watch it.
Well, before we get into our topic, I wanted to mention that we were just in Michigan at a cancer convention, and it was a phenomenal event. I would love to see these little cancer seminars pop up in all cities. They had a nice audience, people were super receptive, and they just had a star lineup of educators that gave it 100%. They held nothing back, and it was a wonderful experience.
Yep, Stephanie did a wonderful thing, Theta Living. So if anybody wants to get more information on that lecture, you just have to go to Theta Living, and you can check it out.
Awesome. Well, we ready to jump in and talk about environment?
That's right, your pet's environment.
So, it's interesting that our homes now are the most toxic area of any place that we can go. And some of the reason for that is in our quest to be so energy efficient, we've made our homes really tight. In other words, we're not getting a lot of outside air. And in Florida, where I live, we have tremendous humidity, and mold is a huge problem. A friend of mine, I just found out they have mold in one of their bedrooms. And it was pretty shocking to everybody. This is a gorgeous mansion that they live in. But the way the shower was designed and the way the ceilings are designed and how the circulation occurs, what's happening is that the heat is accumulating in the moisture at the top of the roof. And they found they had black mold in their walls. So we definitely have to look at our home environment and some of the aspects that make it a toxic environment. Ready to jump in?
Absolutely. And the thing
Okay.
is that, you know what? You may not even know it. You may not even know you have black mold, but you'll know it by the symptoms of the people that live in the house and the pets that you have.
Absolutely. And it's a very insidious process. It's not like all of a sudden a brick drops on your head and you go, oh, wow, that hurt. These are low grade symptoms that come on over time. So, one of the first things that we want to talk about is your cleaning products. Let's just start there. And I had to recently look underneath my sink. We had a little kitchen problem. And when we went under the sink, I was appalled to see the amount of toxic products that were there. Not that we were using them, I haven't used them in 14, 15 years, but they were still under my sink. And some of them had rusted and were actually leaking under there. So, step number one, I want everybody to go through your cabinets and start looking at what are your cleaning supplies, what are the different products that you're keeping in your cabinets that you may not even remember are back there. Because even though you're not using them in their cans, they can be off gassing. Here's my rule of thumb. If you can't pronounce the name on it, on any of the ingredients, don't use it. That makes it pretty simple. There's a lot of places that you can go to learn about do-it-yourself cleaners. Mama Z has a great book out, Dr. Z. They have a great book out on using essential oils and do-it-yourself cleaners. There's another website that I like, which is Wellness Mama. and she has great stuff. And then I have stuff on my website as well, so that you can learn how to do better cleaning products. There's companies that are making all green products. They're safe, they're conscientious products, they are sustainable products, all the factors that you want to look at. And this includes your cleaning products, what you clean on your floor, your countertops, what you do your laundry with, what you're brushing your teeth with, what you're using for your own personal shampoos and conditioners and shampoos. All of those things, you want to really take a look at that, because that is getting into the environment. You want to make sure that's nice and clean. Number 2 is air quality. Now, a lot of people don't pay attention to their air quality. If you're not opening your windows and getting good air circulation, you can get companies that'll come in and actually test your air quality and see if you have toxins like mold or other toxins that are building up in your house. And there are a plethora of different good products. I don't know if you recommend any that you can install, either air cleaners and air scrubbers, or things you can install in your air vents. But first and foremost, you have to even know if you have a problem. So that's really important.
Yeah.
After you, Go
I
ahead.
was just going to say, yeah, what we use is we sell ozonators, because I really don't believe that you can really get a really good filtration system without ozonating. I think you have to use an
Excellent.
ozonator, and you know what? And with ozonators, if you can slightly smell it, then you turn it down to where that is, where you can slightly smell it, and then you know it's doing its job. And depending on different times of the year, different temperatures, how much moisture is in the air, how many people live in the house, the way you cook, what type of chemicals are in your home, will depend on how much ozone you're actually going to produce in the house.
Excellent. Great suggestion. And I totally support that.
Yeah.
So the next area that we want to look at in air quality is also, what are you doing to make the air smell good? I would highly encourage people to never, ever, ever use those plug-ins. They're very toxic. They come from petrochemicals. Don't want to use those. You want to look at using essential oils. They make these beautiful diffusers, and then you can take essential oils that have different medicinal effects, and you can do things like peppermint to brighten up the morning and get everybody up and going, clear out the sinuses, get rid of headaches. And then in the evening time, you can do something like lavender to make things peaceful. You can do things like frankincense or oregano if you're having colds in the house, if it's that time of the year people are getting sick. So you can really change your oils around to be therapeutic as well. For your pets, you want to make sure that you don't lock them in a room with the diffuser going. They need to be able to move out of the room and get away from the smell in case it's too strong for them. Okay, so we covered air quality. We covered the smells that we put into the air, the cleaners. I kind of I mentioned them, but I just want to reiterate that if you're using something that is a commercial product, please read the label. Oh, the other thing you can do is go on to the website ewg.org. That's E like in Edward, G like in, it's Environmental Working Group. And it's the letters for the Environmental Working Group. And they have a consumer section that you can plug in different products. And it'll tell you a rating as to whether or not they're good or not. An A rating is usually an excellent product. Anything below an A rating, you don't want to use. And they have a free app, so you could even do this while you're in the store.
And just know this, that the larger the corporation is, the more the corruption they have. So, and you can almost take that one to the bank. There might be the odd exception, but understand something. There is no need to have to clean with chemicals today. All right? There's
Not at all.
enzymatic products, there's hydrogen peroxide, there's baking soda, there's apple cider vinegar. I mean, the list just goes on and on. You know, there's no reason to poison ourselves today. There was no reason to poison ourselves back then. It's just slick, smooth advertising, and we bought into it. And don't think that you're saving money either. You're not saving money with these companies, because right off the bat, you know, it costs them a lot of money to advertise these chemicals and push them down your throat or into your ears, wherever it needs to go, so that you can hear it. But the reality is that you can have a total natural environment in your home. And understand something. Most people think that if it's natural, it's not going to clean as well as the chemical. And that's absolutely not the truth.
Absolutely correct. I totally agree
Yeah.
with that. And here's even worse for our pets is that we get to leave the house and we go outside. We go to work, we go to school, we're out of the house for a certain number of hours in the day. But typically, our pets, they're indoors all the time. They're laying on the floor. Whatever contacts their skin, that's getting absorbed because your skin is the largest organ of absorption and excretion. So, whatever you're cleaning with, whatever you're washing your laundry with, whatever you're washing in, when your pets lay on your clothing, they lay in your bed, they lay on the floor, they're absorbing those things. Some of the worst chemicals that have ever been added to our cleaning products are xenoestrogens. And xenoestrogens are estrogen mimicking compounds. These compounds are hormone disruptors. They mess up your normal cycles. They make the body think that there's an estrogen coming in. One of the reasons why we're seeing so many estrogen based tumors is because we are inundated with all of these products that have these chemicals that are in there to make them last for 50 to 100 years. We really don't need them to last on the shelf that long. Make it, use it, make it fresh again.
Absolutely. So where do we go from here?
There's a couple more areas I want to cover.
Okay.
I want to mention the importance of the furniture and your bedding and things that have foam in them, because we don't realize that all new furniture, unless you can find a place that doesn't do this, are all sprayed and doused in flame retardants. A lot of the clothing that we buy is doused in flame retardants. And these flame retardant products are off-gassing. They produce what we call volatile organic compounds, VOCs, and they're very toxic. If you're going to go shopping, really consider for your bedding, and especially your bedding, that you buy organic cotton sheets and comforters so that you're not getting all the off-gassing from your bedding, because you're laying in it for anywhere, 5, 6, 8, 12 hours, however long you stay in bed. And in your clothing as well. You want to minimize how many toxins are coming off of that. And then new furniture. It's always exciting to get new furniture, but you want to be really aware of what is that furniture off-gassing in your home. Because we just described that our typical homes don't have a lot of circulation. So all those chemicals are going to be circulating in your air all the time that you're in there. It's not like you smell them, but they're still there. And they're creating a lot of toxicity.
That's where the ozone purifier, or you get an essential oil atomizer. And if you're going to do that, if I can say this, don't get the one that you add the water to. You know, you can get like an atomizer, essential oil atomizer. You'll actually see it on our website. When you actually add it to the water, you're going to burn through more essential oil, and it's not going to work as well because it's added to the water. When you have a really good atomizer, and you can time it depending on the room, depending on the size, on how much it just atomizes into the air. And that's what we're doing right now. Right now, Dr. Siegel, we have 560 fires in BC. So right now, if you were to look outside my door, I can hardly see my lake for the smoke. I can't see the other side of the lake.
Oh,
So we have so much smoke everywhere. But now we've got the ozone on in the house. We've got, we make all our own essential oils here. We have a whole line of them. So we've got them on every floor. And you know what? We know that it's as close to nature as possible. So understand something. Your home, they say that your home is always going to be way more toxic than outside. So we always have to remember that. So, you know, if your kids have allergies, and if the family is having symptoms of allergies or sinus problems, then guess what? Your dog has them. Your dog just can't tell you that. Or your cat.
Yeah, their inhalant allergies do show up differently.
Yeah.
Thank you for mentioning that. So the one other area that I want to mention when we talk about indoor quality is the electromagnetic pollution, those electromagnetic frequencies that are produced. We have several different meters that we can use, and people can buy these meters, or you can hire somebody to come in and test your house, because you have no idea what your EMF pollution is until you test for it. It could look like the dirty electricity that's running in the wiring of your house. It could be in your appliances, particularly your smart appliances. So people that have smart appliances, smart houses, they have the highest level of electromagnetic pollution of anybody. You have to test to see what is going on. Where are your routers? Where is the Wi-Fi? What is it producing in the house? And even the pollution that you're getting from your neighbors, because you may be picking up some of their Wi-Fi and some of their pollution. It's very important to find out what your problem is. Once you identify the problem, it may be as simple as exchanging an appliance or unplugging something. For instance, you can unplug your Wi-Fi at night. If you're sleeping, you're not using it. If your pets are in the house during the day and no one's home, you can unplug or turn off your Wi-Fi so that it's not emitting all of those frequencies for your pet the whole time. We're going back to doing a lot of hardwiring. I'm actually hardwired right now on this computer, and it's helping to minimize some of the EMF exposure that we have. And Lord only knows when we go to the 5G, it's going to be wicked bad for a lot of people. It's going to be a major conversation that we're going to need to have that allows us to find out what are we actually exposed to and how can we mitigate that. And there's some wonderful companies that have mitigation services. So they'll tell you, once you know what your problem is, they'll tell you what you need to do to fix it.
Well, the best way is to be like you and not live around a bunch of condos in downtown. You know, the more dense the population is, the more there's going to be cell phones, the more there's going to be towers, the more there's going to be a lot of EMF going on. We've got a caller. Are you ready for a caller, Dr. Siegel?
I am.
Okay. Go ahead, caller. Hello. Hello? Okay. Hello, caller. Okay, they come on, they go off. All right, there was too much EMF, okay? We lost them. They'll be back. Okay.
All right, so we're going to cover one more thing for indoor pollution while we're waiting for the next caller. Is that okay?
Yep.
Okay, so the next thing I want to cover are the ants in our brains. We have pollution from the ants in our brain, and ants stand for automatic negative thoughts. So there's a lot of households. If this is you, you don't have to call in and admit it, but I want you to be paying attention. When we have negative thoughts, we produce negative neurochemicals, and those negative neurochemicals not only affect our body, but actually entrain to our pets' bodies and to all the other people that are in the environment. So we want to try to minimize the thoughts about us, we're not good enough, or life isn't good, or I'm not this or that, or other people in your household that you have negative thoughts towards. And if we can just create an environment where there's more gratitude, where there's more compassion, where there's more caring. I like to tell people to start your day with gratitude and end your day with gratitude, and sandwich it in the middle of the day. Take a few minutes at lunch to just find something you're grateful for. Find 10 things you're grateful for. But when you start focusing on what you're grateful for, you send an entirely different neurochemical message to your body and around you. Very important.
We've got 3 callers. Go ahead.
Hi.
Go ahead, caller.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi. I'm actually one of Dr. Marlene's patients with my Great Danes. And one question I wondered is, what kind of effects do I see with my dog that are resulting from the EMP?
The EMF. Hi, Lisa.
Hi.
So are you referring to the EMF, the electromagnetic frequencies?
Yeah. Yeah.
So that is really interesting because in animals, they may not express headaches, they may not express achiness, but if we were to do live blood analysis on them, we would see that their cells are sticky and they're not getting as much oxygen to their tissues. They're getting more oxidative stress. So we're going to end up seeing higher levels of inflammation. And that can show up in many different ways. It may be contributing to skin allergies, to dietary indiscretions, to not feeling as energetic and chipper. It could look like days where they don't feel like eating. So it's a subtle difference in how they feel, and they just don't feel as energetic. There was a time a few years ago where I used to have a computer on my left, a computer on my right, 3 cell phones, and I'm working in the middle of my bed. And one day I just realized I was just yawning. I was tired. It was just 11 o'clock in the morning, and I just had a good night's sleep, and I was exhausted. And I took and I moved all the computers away from me, and I sat back down in my bed, and I tell you, it was like a cloud lifted off of me. It was literally a gray cloud. And when I opened my eyes, I felt totally different. Since then, I did EMF protection for my appliances, and I have felt so much better. These are subtle differences, and you almost have to experience the opposite of it to appreciate how much it's affecting us. But when we talk about being tired and not having energy, and our pets aren't quite as energetic, sometimes we miss that because they're indoors, we're not taking them out for long runs. And so you don't actually see that behavior, but you would see a change if you do mitigate the amount of EMF exposure and then see how they act. You will see a different animal.
That's great. Thank you.
We can talk when you come in next time. I'll give you some links to companies that can test and then mitigate some of your EMF exposure.
That's wonderful.
I'm going to give Lisa some kudos. She feeds her dogs raw, and she has Great Danes. So it is a challenge to afford that, and she does it. And her dogs get kefir. They have hydrogen water. She is an amazing pet parent, and I love you so much.
Beautiful.
Thank you. We love you too.
Thanks for calling in, Lisa.
Okay, have a good one.
You too.
Okay, next caller. Good afternoon. Hello.
Hello, caller. You're on the air.
Hello, caller.
Oh, hello.
Hi.
Hi, Darrell.
How you doing?
Good.
Good.
What's your question?
I have two Bernese mountain dogs, and we try to feed them really well, and I'm into natural stuff a lot. But my boy dog gets a lot of those fatty lipomas, and I even go to a natural vet. Nobody seems to have answers for why they might get those. I just get the story that some of them are just prone to it, and I'd like to figure out why. I think there must be a reason.
Oh, absolutely. Lipomas like that are, in Chinese medicine, they're considered to be qi stagnation. That's where energy isn't flowing. And what is it that you're actually feeding your pets?
Well, I'm kind of thinking of switching to raw, but they're getting older. So what I've been doing in the past is getting them the best dry food I can and cutting it back to barely a couple cups a day, giving them mostly greens drinks out of my Vitamixer, and also a lot of fruits and vegetables, organic. And I now sometimes cook them some meat and give them that at night.
So you are actually, with all good intention, and I'm saying this lovingly, you are actually creating the inflammation in their body. You can't, you have to feed a species appropriate diet, the diet that they were designed to eat. Anything short of that is going to lead to stress, oxidative stress, inflammation, increased free radicals, and ultimately you're going to lead to the stagnation that you're actually seeing. So there's no shortcut. If we don't eat what we were designed to eat, we are going to have consequences. If we did that to your car, if you drive a car that, say, needs regular gasoline, and you decide, I don't really want to spend the money on regular gasoline, let me try air, or let me try water, or sand, or diesel, right? Your car would not run. It has no ability to adapt. Agreed?
Yes, that
Agreed?
makes sense.
Okay. But with our bodies, instead of feeding our bodies what we were designed to eat, we have bastardized our diets and we're feeding what is called frankenfood. Jeffrey Smith calls it food-shaped objects, FSOs, and it's not real food. And so now these animals are trying to survive. They're trying to hang in there long enough, but it's not supporting them. And so then they start having problems, and we want to blame it on something when really the root cause of it is they're not getting the nutrition that they need for their bodies to work.
So what would be the worst thing that I'm feeding them? Like I'm giving them mostly fruits and vegetables and greens drinks and the Vitamixer.
So what do you see lions and tigers eat on National Geographics?
Meat.
They eat another animal in the state that they killed it in. They eat the meat, they eat bone, they eat fat, they eat organ meat, and they eat the intestines, which has all the great probiotics in there. Do you see them going out into apple orchards and grazing on strawberries and grapes? No.
I guess not.
So,
no.
Yeah. So we try to do right, and so we feed them what we're eating, but we're omnivores. We were designed to eat that. We have amylase in our saliva. We were designed to eat carbohydrates. Your dog doesn't even have amylase in his saliva. So everything that you're feeding him is contrary to what his real diet needs to be. And again, lovingly, when you cook his food, you're destroying the enzymes that are necessary to break the food down. So now the only thing they can break their food down with is their pancreas. And at some point, they're going to use up all their pancreatic enzymes trying to digest the processed foods, the high carbohydrates, the cooked foods, and an exceedingly high diet of sugar. Even though fruits and vegetables are good for you, it's very high in sugar. And they're not designed to eat that. So it'd be like putting water in your gas tank. Only our bodies keep trying to work, and they ultimately end up having challenges or dis-ease, right? Because there's no disease. There's health and there's lack of health. So the lipomas that you're seeing are simply the dash light coming on that says, check the engine, there's a problem here. And thank you for calling in, because now you have an opportunity to do something else about it. So we can call it chi stagnation, but ultimately what you have to do is you have to get energy flowing by getting them on a more species appropriate diet so their body can do what it innately knows how to do, and that's to stay healthy.
Well, can you tell her what to do? Tell her what is the best.
Well, going on a raw diet. Our diet isn't out yet. I got to call tonight and find out where we're at with our label. But a species appropriate raw diet that is all organic, that is a must. Should have a blend, if you have a healthy dog, a blend of an 85% protein meat, bones and organ meat, and 15% fat. And then a really good high quality supplement that has all the essential vitamins, minerals, and fatty acids in it. We have a product that is phenomenal. If you message me after the show, I'll get you some product for that. And then good clean water. That's your basics right there. And if they've been on processed foods a long time, I would put them on digestive enzymes, both a plant-based enzyme with their meals and a pancreatic enzyme between their meals.
And how are they going to get in touch with you? How would I get in touch with you?
You would either go to my website, which is pascovet.com, P-A-S like in Sam, C like in cat, O, pascovet.com, or you can call our office at 813-973-2929.
Hey, wonderful.
Did that help?
Yeah, it does. I do give them, I have an alkaline water system. I give them the water, but I don't make it too alkaline. I just keep it at kind of a regular pH. Is that good for them?
Let me answer that one, because I love when that question comes up. And I actually don't know if Dr. Wolfe has the same feeling as I do, but I think he does. Alkaline water does not have a healing effect. It's the hydrogen that is what has the antioxidant effect. So when water is made through electrolysis, the byproduct, that is an alkaline product that has hydrogen. The problem with many hydrogen machines is that the electrodes get corroded and they are no longer capable of making adequate amounts of hydrogen. So you're drinking alkaline water, but your body is going to keep a blood pH between 7.2 and 7.35 no matter what you do until you are ready to die. So it's not the alkalinity that makes you healthy, it's the hydrogen that your body uses in many of its metabolic processes and also as an antioxidant. So you want to check the amount of hydrogen that's in your water. Now here's the problem.
How do you do
Hydrogen's
that?
a gas. So these people that are going out and buying alkaline water, by the time they get home, if there was hydrogen in there, it's going to dissipate over a matter of 12, 18, 24 hours. So they're drinking an alkaline water, but they may not be getting the amount of hydrogen that would give them the medicinal effect that they're looking for. Answer,
Okay,
drink it fresh.
I've been looking into that myself. What do you recommend for making the hydrogen water then? What product?
I know one of the machines I recommend is the Echo water machine. And again, if you email me, I'll send you a link that you could use to go to their site and look at the different machines that they have.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you.
Yeah, their technology is a little unique because every time you make water with their machine, the electrodes swap places. So it never has a chance to develop scaling, which is what inhibits the hydrogen from working.
And they also have homeopathics built right in, so they can actually have homeopathics built right into the water. So they're
expanding
their systems are unique. And and I will say this in the nicest way, but a lot of people, I have people that come into me and they've spent $3,000 to $5,000 on a Kangen water machine that can't even come close to the Echo water machine. So I say to everyone, buyer beware, do your homework, and then let the science tell you where it's going.
Yeah, absolutely. The other thing that I like to do is Dr. Wolfe has a little unit that you run the water through that structures it. And so for me, I want the highest level of filtration, which the Echo offers. They take out glyphosate and heavy metals and everything below it, but they produce the hydrogen. And then to really make it structured, I run it through Dr. Wolfe's little machine. What is it called, Dr. Wolfe?
It's called the Water Natural Action Structure Unit. That you can see it on my website at Doc of Detox.
Yeah, I love that. And so
yeah.
every time I make water, I run it through that, and it's portable, so I can take it with me. When we were traveling, I was up in Michigan giving that cancer lecture, and we were at dinner, and I would get filtered water, and then I ran it through the machine, and everybody at the table, they were looking at me weird, and they said, no, you got to taste your water before and then taste your water afterwards, and everybody could taste the difference.
Wow.
Yeah, that's when it's all about nature. There's no moving parts, no electricity, no filters. It's all about nature. Nature does the same thing to rain, fast-moving rivers and waterfalls, and what it's doing is it's totally getting rid of all the surface tension so that your water is super hydratable. And the other thing that water structure units do, you can filter your water till the cows come home, but you didn't get rid of the frequency from the drugs, from the people that drank it, from the chemicals, from the viruses, from everything. It's still, the frequencies are still in there. So structured water is really good for erasing the memory and starting off with a clean slate and bringing the water molecule down from 2,500 water droplets to a drop of water to 2,500 molecules in a drop of water down to 6 molecules. So your body has no energy to do this. So if your body has no energy, it doesn't have to use any energy to get it into the cell, you're going to deliver your nutrition better and get rid of your toxins faster.
So like we were talking about in tonight's talk, of course, food is premier. What you put in your body, you are what you eat, and so are your pets. The water that you drink, you're made of 70% water, and then you clean up your environment so that you have less toxins coming in through your skin, through your breathing. That is just an amazing way to start your health program and to set a foundation for your pets. Tying it all together.
Wonderful.
How did that do?
You did great, I think.
Did that help you?
Yeah, absolutely did. Can I ask one more thing? So am I to understand that they shouldn't really be eating a bunch of organic carrots and apples and things like that?
No, it's really high in sugar. And I love the fact that it's organic, but the sugar content, that's not to say that you can't give them a little crispy bite if you feel like it, that's fine. But when it becomes a large part of their diet, then you're just adding the carbohydrates like crazy. They're not, and then you add that to the kibble, which is exceedingly high in carbohydrates, and their poor pancreas is going, ouch, ouch, ouch. And it can't keep up with all of the insulin demand, and then they become insulin resistant. Then you get your lipomas and the fat, it's all deposited. And if you were to see their live blood, if you have somebody in your area that can do live blood analysis, you would find that they have massive amounts of yeast in their blood, and they're there to eat all that sugar.
Wow. Okay.
So, Dr. Siegel, is it true that a dog's hydrochloric acid, the stomach acid, is 40 times stronger than ours? So that's why they've been adapted to just eat protein, like you're saying, right?
I've not heard that. I'll have to look into that.
Oh, really? Maybe I made it up.
I don't know, but they're certainly adapted to eating meat. They don't have the amylase to break down carbohydrates, but they're supposed to have a good amount of hydrochloric acid in their stomach, which interestingly, we make hydrogen in our guts, and our pets can make hydrogen. We're actually our own hydrogen factory, but your gut has to be healthy to do that. Yeah. So if you don't have a good microbiome, if you have leaky gut, if you have a lot of inflammation going on in your gut, if you're eating a lot of processed foods and a lot of GMOs and hormones, chemicals, and pesticides, you don't have a healthy gut. And that means you're not producing the adequate amounts of hydrogen. All your metabolic processes that require hydrogen are going to be deficient, including the ability to make hydrochloric acid, which is made up of hydrogen and chloride. So now the people that in our country, there's so many people that are on antacids, they're living off of omeprazole and Prilosec, and it's not a lack of acid that they have. It is a lack of acid that they have. Not that they have too much, but the doctors prescribe all these antacids thinking that they have too much acid. And in fact, they don't have enough because they're not producing it in their body.
They're just making the wrong acid, lactic acid. They don't have enough acid for digesting.
Excellent. Did that answer all your questions?
Yes, I believe so. And I'll message you and just get some more details about maybe some pancreatic enzymes and digestive enzymes and such. And then I'll just switch over.
Excellent.
To diet.
I'll send you links to everything.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Have a wonderful evening. Thanks for calling.
You too. Thank you.
Next caller. Good day, caller. How are you doing?
Hi, am I on?
You're on.
You are.
You're on.
Wonderful. First of all, I am so grateful for this show. I've been wanting to find out all this information for the longest time and searching on my own. Didn't get me there. But I'll get to my question. Since I learned that cancer is the #1 cause of death in dogs, I became really convinced that diet has to be the common denominator in all that.
Yes.
And but I have a couple of questions about this. I thought I had found the right diet for them. This Dr. Marty advertises on the internet that his food contains all the proper meat, organ meat, bones, but it's dehydrated. So how does that sit with you?
So I don't mind dehydrated food. I think it's a wonderful way to be able to have a diet that doesn't have to be refrigerated or frozen. When we had our hurricanes come through the end of last year, we had big areas that are out of power for a long time. And people who had a lot of frozen foods, including raw frozen foods, were really in a bad way. So having an animal that's used to eating freeze-dried along with eating a raw frozen diet, it's a really benefit, in my opinion. But most freeze-dried diets are expensive. They're more expensive than a frozen raw diet. So that has to be taken into consideration. But when you go to feed it, you don't want to feed it dry. You want to add the moisture back into it. So if your diet doesn't have any grains in it, doesn't have any lectins, any of the legumes in it, and it really is the base of the meat, the fat, the protein, the bone, the organ meat, and it has your vitamins, minerals, and fatty acids, if that's really in there and it's a dehydrated diet, that's fine. Just add your moisture back in. I like to add either hydrogen water or we use kefir, so they get their bacteria back in, or you can do bone broth.
So I don't know if she heard you, but does it have lentils in it or any grains in it or anything like that?
Any legumes?
I am not sure. I will have
You want
to go and
you want to
check in
read the label.
research, but he is, yeah, I will have
One
to
of the
check
big
because
things
he
that's going on right now in the grain-free world is that they have substituted the grains for legumes, and legumes are high
Yes.
lectin products, and these lectins cause inflammation. And we're seeing a lot of dogs now that are dying of a heart disease called cardiomyopathy because they are having a taurine deficiency. Now, dogs are supposed to be able to synthesize taurine in their body. For some reason, on these high lectin diets, they're not able to synthesize the taurine. They're becoming deficient and they're getting this heart disease.
I see.
So read your label. Just that's all. You really need to read the label.
Okay, so I'm actually not 100% sure if I'm saying it's dehydrated or if it's a kibble. I don't know if you're familiar with Dr. Marty's food.
I'm not.
I think it's dehydrated, but it comes dry. You add food, and it's much. It's not hard like kibble, you know. Even
Just
the
do
dry,
some homework and actually
part
find
of
out
it.
which it is.
Yeah. Okay. And then one other thing I'm doing, which I don't know if it's actually beneficial or anti-beneficial, is I boil chicken breast, organic and antibiotic-free, but I boil chicken breast and then I run water through it to get rid of the excess oil, not to make the stool runny. But I put that on top of their food. Is that good or bad?
So I want you to think about the diet as being balanced or not balanced. If you take your child to a Morrison's, I don't know if you have them in your area. They used to have these restaurants where you could get your entrees on one table, your desserts were on another, your vegetables were on another, and it was like a smorgasbord. You could go through and you can pick whatever you wanted to eat. And if you spent too much time at the dessert table, then you would get more desserts and you wouldn't have a balance of all the other nutrients that you need. Agreed?
Yes.
Okay. So dogs were not designed to eat 100% meat. They were designed to get the meat, the protein, the fat, the bone, and of course, all their vitamins, minerals, and fatty acids. When you're using a cooked food, a cooked protein, one of the problems is you've destroyed the enzymes that were originally in that meat, that tissue, that aids the animal in breaking down the food. So anytime you give a cooked food product, you are making the digestion more difficult for the animal. They have to work harder. There's a little more oxidative stress and there's a little bit more inflammation. And then you don't know if the diet's as balanced because you're increasing without knowing what you're increasing. You're increasing your protein, which is throwing off the other nutrients because you're doing the protein without the bones. Now your calcium phosphorus ratio is going to be unbalanced, and that could lead to some problems. In the wild, animals figured out what they needed to eat. They intuitively knew, oh, today I'm going to eat a little bit more heart or liver or kidney. And maybe I'm going to chew on some extra fat today, or maybe I'm going to chew on a bone today, or I'm going to have some more cartilage. I don't know how they figured it out, but they innately knew how to eat. When we restrict their diet by only giving them what we're offering them, we are not allowing them to do their intuitive knowledge of how to balance their diets. So we are really creating a more imbalanced diet by restricting them from having choices. Do you understand that?
Completely. It makes
Yeah.
sense.
So what you want to do is you want to find a really good diet. As soon as our diet is out, I'm not saying this because I helped to create it, but it really will be the leading diet standard out there. It's going to be the one that other companies are going to have to reach the benchmark because we haven't compromised on anything. We haven't used synthetic vitamins, minerals, or fatty acids. We have the highest level of ingredients. Everything's organic, and it's balanced in the proportion that animals were designed to eat. And you could tweak it a little bit here and there, but they're getting all the essential nutrients that they need to get. And that right there is going to just create a whole new playing field.
Dr. Siegel,
I'm
could you
really
please,
happy you clarified that
Dr.
for me.
Siegel, okay. I was going to say, Dr. Siegel, could you tell everybody when you think your diet is coming out and how they would obtain it and how it would come?
It's going to come frozen directly from the distributor. So they'll go online. There'll be a link that they can go to. They can order the food and it's going to be shipped directly to them. We have several different sizes. We have 3-ounce medallions. They look like a little frozen medallion. We have 8-ounce patties for larger animals. And then we have chubs. I believe it's a 1 pound and a 5 pound chub. So the chubs are going to be the most economical, and it comes like a frozen block of hamburger. It'll be delivered right to the door. And then the second part of our diet is the superfoods, the essential vitamins, minerals, the all the greens that need to be added to the diet. And that comes from a separate company. Again, will be delivered right to your door. And then we have instructions on how to feed the meat, how to calculate how much their needs are. And it's not one size fits all. Think about that. We don't have one size fits all diets, and neither should our pets. It depends on, are they overweight or underweight? Are they super active or are they very lethargic? Are they couch potatoes and stay in the house all day long? Or are they working dogs? And all of that is going to change their nutritional needs. So we're going to help people to learn, how do I actually feed my animal appropriately? Because leaving this kibble in the bowl all day long is one of the worst things that we've ever done to our animals. They were designed to have intermittent fasting. That meant they ate in the morning when they were hungry. They hunted at dawn. And then throughout the day, they didn't eat again until they got hungry at night. And then they hunted again at night. Sometimes they didn't catch anything. So they would have what we would call intermittent fasting. Back then it was actually considered starvation. But fortunately, they were able to kill something the next day and they got to eat. Those are really important metabolic elements that they need to have so that they can be healthier. But we're used to feeding them these high carbohydrate diets. They're eating sugar, sugar, sugar all day long. And what happens when you eat a lot of sugar? You feel like you need to eat more sugar. You're not getting satisfied. When you eat Chinese food, it's all carbohydrates. You're hungry 2 hours later. So they know how they're supposed to eat. We need to reestablish how do we learn how to do that correctly, because the pet food industry has really led us down the wrong rabbit hole.
Well, that goes for humans and animals, doesn't it? So
yeah,
I mean,
I had another client of mine today. There's a woman from Jacksonville, and she had brought her dog down. We did a consultation, and she called me tonight. She goes, "Oh, did you know that this company is now making a 25-pound diet?" I go, "No, their freeze dried is only in ounces. So if you're seeing 25 pounds, it's not going to be freeze dried." And she sent me a picture of it, and sure enough, it was that Stella Chewys kibble. And here she was thinking it's the same raw food, and it's not. It's a kibble. The company kind of slid backwards and created a kibble diet and is misleading people who aren't really paying attention and understanding that that is just because it's the name Stella Chewys, they no longer are only raw foods. They now have a kibble, which is still a kibble. I don't care who it is. I don't care how expensive it is. A kibble is a kibble is a kibble. It's devoid of enzymes. It's enzymatically dead, high in carbohydrates, has no moisture, which animals need 70% of their moisture to come from their food. And if it's not organic, it's loaded with hormones, chemicals, pesticides, and genetically modified ingredients, which all lead to inflammation.
and did you hear what you said? You actually said that people need to pay attention. Well, guess what? Isn't that just something? We all have to stand on guard and pay attention because we're going to get it if we don't watch it.
Yeah,
So that's what you just said. You know what?
We have to be educated.
Well,
Absolutely.
well-
And take self-responsibility.
Well, you know what? But the thing is where is the trust? You know, you can't trust the food corporations, whether it's our pets or whether it's our children, whether it's us. So I think that, you know, we do need to be educated, but we all have to wake up and we have to just stop. Yeah, you're right. We have to be educated to stop buying this stuff so that they will stop making this stuff. So there it is.
Oh, I guarantee you, when our diet launches, within a year, you are going to see these kibble manufacturers starting to offer some kind of a raw diet. They have to, because they're going to lose their market share. And that's not a bad thing. Okay, they're not, it's not that I'm saying these companies are bad. I'm just saying they're making products that are not good for our pets.
Oh, can I say
If you want
something?
to stay in the business, yes, it's stay in the business, but make something healthy.
These companies are bad. You don't have to say it. I'll
I
say
was
it.
being nice. You can say it.
These companies are bad. They're bloody well evil, as far as I'm concerned, because they're pretending to sell one thing and they're selling another thing. You know, and I understand that, you know, it's all about politics, but you know, the thing is this, you know, I'm not going to be nice to these guys. You know, there's so many people out there that they buy their children pets, and then their children have to see their pets get full of disease, and then the families get really stressed out. And please don't get me wrong, but the vet bills go through the roof, and it's like, honey, can we even afford this pet? You know,
Yeah.
so, you know, unless there's going to be some honesty coming here, and you know, this is what it's all going to have to come down to, is that we have to talk out about these people. We have to talk out about the companies that are pretending to feed our pets but poison them, pretending to feed our children but poison them. Anyways, I got that off my chest. Go ahead, Marlene.
Well, I think the other
Can I
thing
ask
is
one more
that
question?
we have sold our health for fast, cheap, and convenient.
Yeah.
We have done that. We have to take responsibility for our own personal actions. And once we do that, then we can make different choices. So I have recently, because we buy a lot of raw milk to make our kefir, I have been making my own butter. And it is like the coolest thing ever. And I'm really enjoying it. And the taste is amazing. And it's not hard. It doesn't take that long. It's a little extra effort. And it just means that maybe I don't do something that was a waste of my time, and I'm doing something that reaches the depths of my gratitude and joy. It's so fun. And I've also just recently started making cheese, homemade cheeses. And I took some with me when I went to Michigan, and Mama Z, Dr. Z, a whole bunch of people there got to share in my cheese. And they said it was the most delicious cheese they have ever eaten.
What did
And
you
it
make,
was
what
just
did you
'cause it
make
was
the
homemade.
cheese from?
From the cream. It's all made from cream. Well, whole milk. It's whole milk. It has the cream and it has the whole milk in it.
Mm-hmm.
So I took 4 gallons of milk, and then I made these 2 blocks of cheese. They're on my website. They're beautiful. Yeah, but not on my website. They're on my Facebook page. So you guys go to the Pasco Vet page. You'll actually see my beautiful cheeses. And they're amazingly delicious and so healthy for you. And it just makes you feel good. Did it take me a whole Sunday afternoon to do it? Absolutely. Was it worth it? 1000%. Easier to go buy a block of cheese at the store? Yeah, it is. But the amount of fun and joy and sharing that I've been able to have all over this block of cheese has been brilliant. So start making your own do-it-yourself products. Make some foods at home. If you haven't made pickles or cheese or butter, it's super easy. You can make your own butter just out of whole cream, and you just beat it till it turns into butter. It's amazing. But you start taking care of yourself. Plant something, even if it's in a pot. Plant something, an herb that you can then harvest and love and eat and appreciate and have gratitude for.
Go ahead,
Am
caller.
I still on?
Yeah, you are. Sorry, I ranted.
Oh, thank you. Okay. I had a question. I have a little chihuahua, and I noticed that he really likes to eat these tiny, small Persian cucumbers. I slice it up, and he just chomps down on it, and he finishes it off. And the other dog comes, smells it, and it drops out of her mouth. So it's very specific to this dog, and I'm thinking that maybe his body is telling him it's something he needs, even though it's a vegetable. So cucumbers can be bad, right?
Well, cucumbers are also a high lectin food, by the way. Any of the foods that have a lot of seeds in them can have a lot of lectins in them. But I would go back to, what are you feeding? What are you doing for gut health? Because if his tummy doesn't feel good, he's going to be scrounging around trying to find something he can put in his tummy that's going to put the fire out. So I would have to get more information as to why he loves cucumbers, but certainly that's not part of what their natural diet was made of. So I would wonder, does he have a fire going on in the belly and he's trying to find a way to put it out? It's a possibility.
That makes sense because I noticed he likes to eat grass, and that's why I gave him cucumber.
100%.
There it is.
100% he does
There it
not
is.
have a happy belly.
Yep, there it is right there.
Can I just ask one more thing? If until your food comes out, if I wanted to prepare raw food, what would you suggest I should do?
I would go and
What's
get a
the
couple of
recipe?
different books that have good recipes. Dr. Karen Becker has a book on how to prepare raw foods. I would look at other websites that come from credible sources. There's a website called Dogs Naturally, and they have a whole course on how to feed raw. It's not cheaper, and it's going to be some time commitment to you. You have to get the right products and the resources, and they have to be organic. You cannot compromise on that. And it would be like making butter at home. If it makes you feel good and you enjoy doing it, by all means, I would support you in doing that. And then you could get the pet fuel from us that would ensure that you have the right vitamins, minerals, and fatty acids.
Oh, if I may, I wanted to make a suggestion because I heard on a previous show you talking about pet fuel, and it would be so helpful if sometimes when talking about nutrition, maybe you just held up a bottle of pet fuel, because I didn't know what you were talking about for the longest time. I didn't realize it was a nutritional supplement until recently, and maybe until people get more familiar with your product, it would be great to see it visually.
It's because it hasn't been labeled visually yet. I still have it in a coffee can. The company that is making it is working on getting their packaging and labeling done. And as soon as it's done, I will promise I'll be displaying it every show.
Okay.
Thank you,
Sounds
caller.
Good.
But good suggestion. Thank you.
I can order pet fuel, right?
Yes, it's not available yet, but very, very soon.
Oh, it's not. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Hopefully by next show.
We have 2 more callers, and then that'll be it for today. Caller? Go ahead, caller.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello, Dr. Siegel.
Hello, how are you?
Hi.
Dr. Marlene.
Yes.
If I'm trying to make the dog healthy, what kind of feeding should I give a dog before I make the dog into my soup?
I'm really not into answering that question.
Okay, next caller.
We can delete that caller.
Next caller. Yeah.
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
I'm fine. My name is Christina.
Hi, Christina.
I'm in
Hi.
Hi there. I'm in Sacramento, California,
Yeah.
and I was wondering about kefir.
Yes, ma'am.
I'd like to see what you think about giving kefir, Kefir, to a dog.
We make approximately 14 gallons a week. It is my favorite probiotic to feed an animal. Now, it is not the same product that you buy in the stores. The kefir that you buy in the stores is more of a yogurt type product. It's been fermented, but it doesn't have nearly the type of bacteria, quantities, and varieties that you have with a homemade fermented product that is made from kefir grains. So I do want to make that distinction. The best product that you can make is a homemade fermented product. Now, the grains are living organisms, and they have to be fed every day. So the way kefir is made, you put fresh milk over the grains. The grains eat the milk sugars out of that and then turn that into this fermented, thicker product. Then you strain that and you put the grains back into a fresh container and you add fresh milk to it. And that process continues. On climates that are colder, it'll take a little longer to ferment. If the weather's really hot, it'll ferment really fast. So every day, these guys have to be fed. If you aren't going through a quart or more a day of your product, you are going to be swimming in milk. So either get a part of a co-op and have other people do it with you, or find somebody who's already making a homemade kefir product and then just purchase from them.
Okay, because the one I'm getting is through Green Valley, and it's lactose-free, low-fat. I didn't think about making it.
Yeah, that right there, when I see low fat, that is not a well-fermented product. You want a well-fermented product, they have to eat, the grains have to eat whole milk. You can't make it with a 2% or a low-fat product. So that sounds like maybe it's more of a yogurt product, maybe?
Well, it says lactose-free, so...
yeah, those grains have to eat lactose. So we may not be talking about the same product.
We're not?
It doesn't sound like it. Yeah, milk kefir grains, the real milk kefir grains, they look like little bubbly things, like little jelly beans sort of. They have to eat whole milk. And so you couldn't, they wouldn't be able to live in a low fat or a fat-free environment.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
but there are other products that can have the name kefir, and they're cultured differently. So they're still called kefir, but it's not the same product as the kefir that I make.
Yeah, yours is homemade. I'm buying this from a natural food store. But so kefir is good to get for dogs.
It is, but if you want to get the benefits of the kefir, you want to have a well-fermented, good variety of organisms in high concentration. When you open the lid of your product, do you see bubbles still forming?
No.
Then that's not the same product. The product that we make, when you open the lid, there's a pop because there's gas. The organisms that are in there are still fermenting. And you could literally look at the surface of this product and you see little bubbles coming up because the organisms are still alive and they are still fermenting.
Okay. And kefir is basically like a probiotic then?
Exactly.
Okay. I have a dog that's getting two dogs that sometimes get tummy upsets, and one of them sometimes doesn't want to eat. So I thought about maybe putting them on a probiotic to see if that would help with the tummy.
Get them off the processed foods, replenish the microbiome, get good bacteria in there, make sure they have all their vitamins, minerals, and fatty acids, and a clean source of water.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk with me.
Thank you for calling in.
Too bad you couldn't screen the prior guy before this. That's terrible.
It's always got to be somebody who comes in.
Oh my goodness, that's awful.
Yeah.
Okay,
well,
thank you so much.
There are those in the world.
Yeah. Oh geez. Okay.
We bless them and wish them a better life.
Oh God, that's a big problem right now.
All right.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Well, that's our last caller, but what I'd like Dr. Siegel to do is to just tell us what she's up to and when her product she thinks is going to come and what it's called, and to go through that and make sure that she gives everybody information on where they can actually contact her and put their name in so that they can be contacted when her new product comes out. How's that, Marlene?
I'm trying. I was gone in Michigan for the 3 or 4 days, and then we came back, and I've just been inundated. I've had no time to stop and take even a bite to eat. So we're going to work on that tonight and tomorrow and see where we are in the labeling process and how quickly we can move along. Working on the branding right now. So I'm going to defer to maybe next time that we're on, 2 weeks from now, being able to have the pet fuel done and being able to have the links for the actual product done, the raw food product.
That sounds excellent.
I'm working on it, but thank you for pushing me.
So what else is coming up for you? Anything else that you'd like people to know?
Oh, if anybody's going to be in the Boca Raton area next month, I'm speaking at a Salt Booth conference. There's a lot of wonderful benefits that can be derived from having salt therapy. We're seeing more and more salt booths and salt rooms that are popping up around the country. And it would be wonderful to learn a little bit more about why salt is so good and therapeutic for you. So I'll be speaking at that next month. And then I'm speaking at the Holistic Veterinary Conference the following month in October and doing an ozone presentation. So I'm excited about that. And I think we have a show coming up. This is going to be a fantastic show, guys. And I'm going to demonstrate live blood analysis. And I'm going to show you a variety of different cases and what the blood looked like before, what we did to treat the animal, and what the blood looked like afterwards. And I think if there's anything that's going to help seal it for you guys, it's going to be to see it in black and white. You're going to see, what do you look like inside? What are your cells doing or not being able to do based on what you're eating or feeding your pet? And that's going to be a real eye-opener for a lot of people. It's going to be a big change gamer, because now it's going to be not the difference of, oh, well, my raw food costs a little bit more and I really don't see the difference that's happening. When you see what that blood looks like on processed foods, you're going to go, oh my goodness, I need to do something different.
Is this our next show?
It's, what are we now? It might be the next show.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
I guess it's going to be a surprise then, isn't it?
Could be.
Also, what about, you've got a couple courses too, don't you, that people can take, or information they can get about healthy pets, don't you?
I do. I do live consultations now.
You
so
do.
if it's a person who does not have a client-patient relationship with me, if I am not able to physically see your pet, I cannot treat or diagnose your pet. But what I can do is I can go through a process of educating you on how to set up a sustainable lifestyle for your pet that covers everything from diet, nutrition, all the way through detox and cellular restoration. So that's really a fantastic hour that I spend with people. It's very life-changing. And then I have 2 courses coming up. One is for pet parents that teaches them the same thing I do in a consultation, but also gives them resources so they would be able to be empowered to figure out, what do they want to do, what sounds good to me, and how can I start implementing this in my lifestyle, so that you're not dependent on somebody else telling you what is healthy or what is not healthy. This is where you become educated. You get to have the ability to use your mind and your common sense and your gut instincts and say, yeah, that makes sense to me. Not what we're led to believe in the blue pill world. Remember the Matrix? You took the blue pill and that was the world as others tricked you into believing was reality. And then we have the red pill, which is your real truth and reality. So I tell people, let's leave the blue pill world and let's step into the red pill. Let's take away all the facade. Let's take away all the marketing and all the misnomers and misbeliefs that we have been fed for years. And let's really cut it down to the bare truth. I remember when I was growing up, I opened an avocado one time, and I remember my mom saying to me, oh, you better be careful how much avocado you eat because they're very fattening. They have a lot of fat in them. As she pulls out the margarine to put on the white bread, right? And back then we didn't know better. So we ate white bread, bleached white bread with margarine. Might just pour some plastic in our body. I'm probably still getting rid of plastic in my body because my mom, that's all she used. And nowadays we've learned that there are healthy fats. I'm not heavy at all. And yet I eat a massive amount of fat. I eat my own butter. I eat coconut oil. I have avocado oil. I just eat a massive amount of fats every day. And I feel amazing and my brain's bright and happy. And my body is healthier now than I was in my 20s. And I'm in my 60s.
Excellent.
Yeah. So encourage everybody. Start from where you're at. Doesn't matter where you're at. And all you got to do is hit it to that first base. All you got to do is make it to the first base. Take that first step to make some changes. Whatever is making most sense to you or is easiest for you or whatever. It doesn't matter. Just make that first step. And then after you get to that first base, then start looking down the road for that second base. And you just keep going around and around until you finally look at yourself and you go, wow, I came from there and I'm all the way over here now. And my life is amazing. And that's what I wish for everybody. The journey is a blast.
Well, you're amazing, Dr. Siegel. And
Thank you.
I know that everybody loves you when you come on, and that's why we have her on this show. So if you want a healthy pet, like the healthiest pet, then let all your friends know about this show. You know, there is no other show like this on the web.
Yeah.
So let all your pet owners know, or people that are thinking about getting a pet, know about this show. They can go and watch the other shows at docofdetoxshow.com, or even up on YouTube. Like I said, you can watch these shows and do closed captioning, where they'll be putting all the writing at the bottom, and you can change it to any language you want around the world on YouTube. So share this show, and let's really wake people up that they can have healthy pets, that they can truly have healthy pets in a time when pets are not healthy. I want to thank Dr. Marlene Siegel for taking the time to do this amazing show with us again today. And I would like thank you, Marlene. I would also like to mention, if you want, you can join us for Braveheart. We're having another retreat in February. It's a 6-day retreat at the Lido Resort in Palm Springs. I'm going to be doing what's called a Braveheart retreat, and it's going to be a retreat where you can kick back and really enjoy the spa there. And then we'll be doing treatments, and we're doing the Braveheart training, and we'll be going on hikes, and we're going to see some wild wolves. Check it out at itioh.com. And the next Pet Star is going to be happening on the 22nd. And if you would like to go to docofdetoxshow.com, Marlene's going to let us know what exactly that show is. And it might even be up there already, because the two of us are so busy. We're a little dizzy. So anyways, and also Monday, I have Clayton's Classroom. And that's the power of structured water and detoxification, and how to protect your family against city water. Okay, and that'll be on August the 27th at 3 p.m. And then
I think our next show is going to be September 5th.
September 5th.
2 weeks, right?
Yeah, that would be Omi. Thank you, Omi. Okay, so it's
right.
Thank you.
Thanks for catching that, Marlene.
You're welcome.
Yeah. So it's September 5th. It'll be at 3 o'clock again. Okay, Pacific Standard Time. All right, and then
6 o'clock Eastern.
That's right, 6 o'clock Eastern Time. And then, like I said, we'll have Clayton's Classroom this Monday at 3 o'clock. How to prevent city water from poisoning your family. And then I'll have on Tuesday, it's Braveheart Nation for everybody. Get your health questions together, your emotional questions. And just know this, that on every show now, we will be showing where you can call us. Even with Dr. Marlene Siegel's show, we're going to have phone numbers from all over the world that you can call in on a 1-800 number. So it doesn't matter if you're in the UK or where you are around the world. You're going to be able to ask Dr. Siegel any question, okay? And we'll have this also for Braveheart Nation this Tuesday, and that'll be at 10 a.m. And the reason why we switch it, this week was 3 p.m., next week 10 a.m., is because we want to make sure that we get the international callers in who have questions. Also, Hope for Cancer with Tony Jimenez is on August the 30th. And for those of you who would like to try out my daily cleansing tea, we'll send a half a month out for free. You just pay the shipping. And if you want my book, Healthy to 100 free, we'll throw that in as well. And if you want any more information, you can go to braveheartlibrary.com and have the best night of your life. And again, I want to thank you, Dr. Marlene Siegel, for being such an amazing host. Isn't she great, guys?
Love you guys.
Bye now. Thank you for
Bye.
coming.